I'm Sue Cischke. I'm Group Vice President for Sustainability, Environment, and Safety Engineering for Ford. And so it took a long time for them to evaluate our whole application, but they did approve it all. And because $25 billion was allocated for the total portfolio for all the companies to share, we were awarded $5.9 billion. But if there's more money allocated in the future, we will qualify for more. So, because we did qualify for the whole $11 billion, but they weren't going to give it all to one company. Obviously, there were others that they wanted to make sure we could spread some of that around. So we're very...
What are you going to do with it?
All very prescribed. It's like any kind of undesignated money. Each project is defined in terms of the timing of the project, what we spend it for, even when it comes to equipment that we're buying, even when it comes to the plants where, let's say, we're putting in robot technology or whatever. It's not given over at one time, it's given over as you spend the money. It's very well managed in terms of each project and what it goes for. So it is things like EcoBoost across our vehicle line.
Because it takes a lot to retool these.
It does, and especially when you think about one of our fuel strategies is the weight reductions. I mean, significant weight reductions between 250 and 750 pounds a vehicle. And so you need to invest in new technologies. And in order to do that, you've got to retool not one plant, but 4 and 5 plants. And so there's a huge investment. Think about it from a system standpoint. One of the beauties of the EcoBoost engine is with a smaller engine, we have a lot less weight, and then once you reduce that amount of weight, you can take weight out of the brake system, and then you can take... So there's a synergy, there's a systems effect. From a forming technology, let's say we choose to go with aluminum, that's all new technologies when it comes to joining materials, when it comes to painting, when it comes to repairing, and all of them. For people who are looking at investment on behalf of the government, they're saying, we want to fund things like electric cars, and we're saying that's interesting, but it's a smaller volume. When you're funding technologies that go across millions of vehicles, then you can really have a bigger effect. It just doesn't sound as exciting, and so that's why people need to understand that it's really a portfolio of projects.
What I understand, the engine itself is about $3,000.
That's roughly.
When you get up to your 1.3 million goal of EcoBoost vehicles, will that price come down?
I think it's always a challenge when you're introducing new technology that you need to get volume in order to get. But you do have a turbocharger and you have other components in there, so there's value in terms of what you're buying. I think the difficult thing for people to understand is that they're buying a smaller engine and paying more money. And so we have to get their head around that. But when people are looking at torque and fuel economy, they're not sacrificing performance and they're getting the fuel economy benefit. But I think Americans in particular are conditioned to say, well, how many cylinders, how many, what's the displacement? And
the fact that you have an EcoBoost and the engine is smaller, will these be global vehicles?
Yes, they have global engines, right.
So this actually will help in some countries where they are taxed on displacement.
Yes, in some countries there's different cut points in terms of the displacement of the engine. Others, there's CO2 is a cut point, so anything that's less than 90 grams per kilometer or anything less than 120, there's different cut points. So we're trying to understand how we can do that in the most affordable way. And so our strategy is, we have early introduction of a battery electric vehicle in 2010 with the Transit Connect. They're pure battery electric, so it won't have any other engine. It'll run 100-mile range. Actually, there's going to be 2 versions. There'll be a 70-mile range and a 100-mile range. In 2011, we'll be introducing our Focus battery electric vehicle, so it'll be a C-size vehicle. And that's why our strategy on plug-in hybrids make a lot of sense. So in 2012, we'll be offering our brand new hybrid off of the C platform and the plug-in version. So the beauty of our plan is it really kind of a plug-and-play strategy that off the same platform you could buy a EcoBoost vehicle, you could buy a battery electric, you could buy a hybrid, and you can buy a plug-in hybrid. And so we'll have the economy of scale on the base platform across.
Whose lithium-ion battery are you using?
Well, we haven't announced the battery supply. For the plug-in hybrid, we've announced that we're working with Johnson Controls Saft. but we haven't announced a battery supply for our battery electric because we're working with our partner Magna on the Focus, and then with our partner Smith Electric on the Transit Connect. And
we only have the electric vehicle and the hydrogen vehicle. Do you see anywhere else that we can go for the zero-emission vehicle?
well, I think you have to be careful about, how important is it to be absolutely zero, because when I look at our plug-in hybrids, and they're running in a blended operation mode, they're using teaspoons full of gas most of the time. And so for the average person who's driving 30 miles to work and back, they're really in electric mode the whole time, but they've got the benefit of having the range with the gas there, but it's not using that much gas.
At this point in this economic world, we kind of need to put the money where we can get some cars out there.
Well, it is all about affordability. I mean, we're realistic in terms of what our customers are going to be able to afford, and we want to be able to say to them is, at the cost of electricity today, it's, probably 6 cents a mile to drive on electric power. But with all the new, and that's because electricity is cheap too, and with all the new regimes of cap and trade and things, that price is going to go up. Gasoline is going up and down, and just trying to communicate to people that energy is going to be more expensive in the future. We've had very inexpensive energy, and so that will help people, kind of decide what they need to buy for the future. But it still is about affordability.
Thank you very much.
Okay, very good.